Thank you so much for such a warm welcome. It is a pleasure and an honor to be a part of such an esteemed panel of speakers. I am so grateful for this opportunity, and I'm so happy to share my 2 cents about contact lenses, something I'm deeply passionate about. I will be sharing my screen now. Wonderful. So let's look a little bit upon how do we use retinoscopy in contact lenses and understand a little bit of the basics of contact lenses. So starting with what are the advantages of contact lenses? I think the most basic advantages is that it's objective and reliable, and we're less dependent on the patient's subjective need or the patients who cannot communicate effectively, like in pediatric cases as well. And if we can, with practice, do it more swiftly and it's portable, so can be done at various different places. Understanding contact lenses. So there are so many options that are available in contact lenses. Let's break it down a little bit and understand based on the need. There are different types of contact lenses, right? From soft contact lenses, which in itself has different modalities, or based on the need and the purpose of the patient, we can give different types of contact lenses. We will be looking more into soft contact lenses in the coming slides. Something that has been used age-old for many, many years is rigid gas permeable lenses, the small diameter lenses. And so the limitations of rigid gas permeable lenses was that it was more sensitive to the eye. Therefore, patients couldn't really wear the lenses for long, or they would pop out. And therefore, they made hybrid contact lenses, which is a combination of the soft skirt of the soft contact lens, and the central part of it is the RGB lens. These lenses are also used especially in irregular corneas. And then there is a rose K lens, which is used in like the K standing for keratoconus. And just like in rose K lenses, there is scleral lenses, which is also used for keratoconus, or many types of irregular corneas, also in cases of ocular surface diseases. Now, my special love, which is orthokeratology, and I will be touching a little bit upon orthokeratology as well in the coming slides. And OrthoK lenses, as mentioned earlier, in one of the slides by Dr. Matalia, how do we stop the progression of myopia now, since it's so prevalent and that we are dreading the future of myopia? What are the interventions that we can take at this point to stop the progression of myopia? And OrthoK lenses happens to be one of those. So based on the type of based on the purpose of contact lenses, there are 4 types that we can divide it into. The first is the optical correction. The second is therapeutic. The third is to enhance the performance, like in cases of color vision blindness. And then the fourth one is cosmetic, to improve the appearance of facial features. The first one being optical, in which we see that there are again 3 types based on the refraction. So there is a spherical lens for a spherical prescription, a toric lens, and a multifocal lens for presbyopia. A lot of times, it's observed that due to the lack of awareness of availability of toric soft contact lenses, many practitioners do not really give toric contact lenses, but the results of toric lenses and the vision that you can get with a toric lens is way better than giving a spherical equivalent. So if there is a patient you see who has a prescription beyond a 0.75 diopters of cylinder, it's advisable to shift that patient from a spherical lens to a toric lens, or immediately dispense a toric contact lens. We all want to look younger by the day, so multifocal contact lenses are also an option for patients who have presbyopia. The therapeutic purpose of contact lenses happens to be, as discussed earlier, in certain ocular surface diseases for keratoconus or irregular corneas, given as a bandage lens post surgeries or seen in epithelial defects to reduce the irritation and the sensitivity. It's also used as a drug. There are also lenses that are available as a drug delivery lens, and orthokeratology. For enhancing the performance, as I said, that there are X-chrome lenses that can be given for color vision blindness patients, and cosmetic lenses. There are many different companies that give different colored contact lenses that can improve the cosmetic appearance on certain occasions. So looking more into soft contact lenses, there are various ways to dissect this and understand this based on the material of the lens, based on the purpose, based on the need, and what is it that the patient really requires. So there are The classification of the modality of the contact lenses is based on the traditional, which is the yearly lenses, and then the disposable or the planned replacement, which can be daily, bi-weekly, monthly, or quarterly. Now, yearly lenses, I do not really advise people to use yearly lenses simply because over the period of time, there's a lot of warpage of the lens, deposits on the lens, which can lead to further complications. And because there is so much advent in technology that has happened. So why not use the better lenses like quarterly lenses or monthly lenses, bi-weekly lenses, or daily disposable lenses? The healthiest form of lenses would be giving a daily disposable lens, but they happen to be more expensive. Daily disposable lens, as the name suggests, is that you wear it in the morning and then dispose the lens off in the day. The advantage of a daily disposable lens is that you do not require cleaning solutions, but it's good to have it in handy. The second type is the bi-weekly lens, which some of the companies provide. And a bi-weekly lens is, again, as the name suggests, that you wear it for 2 weeks and then dispose of the lenses after that. Even if the lenses are worn just 1 day out of the 2 weeks, and if the blister pack is open, it is not at all advisable to continue the wear of the lens. It's from the day the lens is opened till the 2 weeks or the month or that specific day that the lens can be worn. And then there is a monthly disposable lens and a quarterly disposable lens. Then there are different types of materials that are available. The earlier ones was the hydrogen lenses, and now there are silicon hydrogen lenses also. Hydrogen lenses have a higher water content, which therefore provides the oxygen needed for the eye. But the disadvantage of a hydrogen lens is that there is evaporation, which means that the water from the lens is sucked out if from the eye and the environment. Therefore, the dryness that may happen with it would be more. And therefore, there are silicon hydrogen lenses. Silicon hydrogen lenses provide high oxygen permeability, therefore can also be worn as an extended wear lens. We do not really advise that in our country specifically because we do not know the compliance, but can be worn longer during the day. So if I would give a hydrogen lens for 10 hours, I would ask the patient that you can wear a silicon hydrogen lens throughout your waking hours, be it 14, 16, 18 hours. It's not a problem at all because they provide high oxygen permeability and are definitely way more comfortable because you will avoid the dryness issues that can happen by the end of the day, the fatigue that can happen with soft contact lenses if worn over a really long period of time. There are different companies that provide different prescriptions, materials, modalities of lenses. Some of them are listed here. There are many more. I have no financial interest, and each of these companies has a list of the different lenses that you can order from them based on hydrogels, silicon hydrogels, daily disposables, monthly, quarterly, yearly lenses. And based on your purpose and your prescription, you can decide which company lenses would you like to order. One of the important factors to keep in mind is also the keratometries that you're doing for patients. Luckily, they have done most of the work, and we can give the base curve of the lens, which fits almost 95% of the population. But in certain cases where the base curves that are designed that are universal, if they do not fit the patient, there are some companies that can give you a customized lens as well. A lot of companies, the lenses that are available in the market easily are up to minus 2.75 diopter cylinder and minus 20 diopter spherical. And they're available first in 0.25 steps up to minus 6, and beyond that, it's in 0.5 diopters. In cylinders, they're available from 0.75 diopters to 2.75 diopters in hydrogels, and in silicon hydrogels from minus 0.75 diopters to 2.25 diopter cylinder. So once you've done the refraction, you can identify which is the best suitable lens for the patient and then dispense. There are few steps and guidelines I will be taking you through to understand how do we dispense a soft contact lenses. Where do we start? And how do we just go about it? So starting with, I think the most important factor is history taking. Just to understand the purpose and the motivation for why the patient really wants to wear contact lenses. Is it like an occasional wear, so daily disposable lens would be better? Is it that they want to play sports? Or is it that it's just for an aesthetic improvement in certain way? contact lenses are a really good option for sports vision also. So just understanding what is it that drives the patient to wear the lenses. Is it like a parent telling the child that, oh no, you shouldn't do this, but the child is quite motivated? So in that case, having conversations and really giving that chair time to the parent as well as the child and any adult as well is really important, because you're giving them a visual aid, and the compliance of what they do with it after once you've dispensed it is very, very important and is a crucial factor in determining if the patient is going to continue wearing this or is going to land up into dropout. So understanding the purpose and the motivation, knowing that there is no underlying history that would be bad, like not a factor that you would want to give a contact lens to the patient. Then seeing the visual acuity and how much improvement happens with the previous glass prescription and what is the vision, uncorrected visual acuity of the patient. Doing a thorough slit lamp examination so you know that when the lens goes in the eye, it's safe. And then, of course, a retinoscopy refraction and a keratometry reading. How to make your contact lens refraction. I think this is the most important slide in the entire presentation. It's easy to go online and really put just the number of, okay, this is my spectacle refraction, and this is my contact lens. What is going to be my contact lens refraction? So starting with that, it's easy to put it online. Then second is there will be charts given by companies. You can really decide what is it after seeing the chart that, okay, this is the contact lens, this is the spectacle prescription. And based on that, this is the vertex distance correction that I need to do. Why is it that we change the prescription in a contact lens beyond a -4 diopters? So the vertex distance from the spectacle plane to the corneal plane is different. It ranges anywhere between 12 mm to 20 mm. So now you have to make up for that vertex distance correction. Up to 4 diopters, it's almost like 0.12 difference, and beyond that, it goes to a higher difference in the spectacle prescription versus the contact lens prescription. Therefore, it is really important that you do not give the same spectacle prescription order for your contact lenses. So let's just try and do this formula and apply it and keep it in handy whenever we do not have our cell phones or we do not have these external devices that we are dependent on, and do a little bit of math and use our brains to know that how do we do this vertex distance calculation. The first is to decide a contact lens power, you have to know what your spectacle power is. So, what is the prescription that you've gained through your retinoscopy refraction. So put that on the top and get the vertex distance. So anywhere between 12 mm to 20 mm. So in this case, let's think of it as 14 mm, and put all of these readings into the formula. For a -6 diopters, when you do the calculation, which is -6 divided by 1 minus 0.0014 in meters into -6. So that 1 minus becomes a plus. And in a hyperopic number, it stays minus. So you subtract it in a hyperopic and add it in a myopic prescription. When you put all the readings into the formula, you will end up with a 5.53 diopter prescription for contact lenses. Now, there's no lens that is available as a -5.53 diopter. In that case, what needs to be done is the closest power is, of course, -5.5. So you will end up prescribing a -5.5 diopter to the patient. The first visit that's done after determining the basics of what lens needs to be ordered. So for example, in this case, you've determined that this patient wants a silicone hydrogel lens, a monthly lens with a -5.5 diopters, and wants to wear it on an everyday basis. You get the lens, you call the patient for a trial. In that, what do? For the trial lens, assess the fit of the lens, the centration, the toric markings, how the lens is sitting in the eye, how comfortable is the patient. All of these factors are very, very important. Then assess the vision with the lenses in the eye. Do the retinoscopy over the lenses. Now, this is a very important step, and the use of retinoscope is something that can really come in handy when you're giving a contact lens, when the contact lens is in the eye. So after that, you see where is the axis of the toric lens And if it is parallel or perpendicular to the axis of the retinoscopy streak is parallel or perpendicular to the axis of the lens, that means that it's a good lens and that you can dispense this and you do not see, you have a neutralized reflex. But in some cases, you will see that this is not working and the streak is not in alignment. In that case, you either change the lens completely and try and give a different base curve and a different company lens, or you do something called as the Lars rule, that see up to what degree is the rotation of the axis. And if it is rotated to the observer's left, you have to do the addition of how many ever degrees it is. And if it is to the observer's right, you have to subtract it from the degrees that it has been rotated. Then you check the toric alignment. And the most important step is the teach, that how is it that you use the lenses when you're back at home without really having the support of the practitioner. In that case, how do you wear the lenses? How do you remove the lenses? How do you store the lenses? When is it that you replace your contact lens case? When is it that you clean your contact lens case? Every single day, the change of solution in the case needs to happen. The care and importance is a very, very important and a crucial step in determining that there are no dropouts that happen with contact lenses, and an added advantage when the patient comes to a clinic versus if they go to an optical store. These steps are usually just missed, and most patients just do not know how to take care of the contact lenses and therefore land up with a lot of complications and end up in the ophthalmologist's clinic. So we want to avoid that and make sure that patients have healthy eyes with contact lenses. After we've determined that the patient is happy to take the contact lenses home and knows how to take care of them, you do a follow-up after a week where you assess again the fit of the lens, assess the comfort. How is it that when they're back home, how are they using the lenses? How many hours are they wearing the lenses? Are they compliant with the teach that you've given? Make sure to ask them to do exactly what they're doing at home. You will see a lot of patients will not wash their hands when they're picking up their lenses and just putting it in the clinic. So you have to remind them of these very important steps that need to be done when you're wearing contact lenses. And just check for the care and maintenance and reiterate the fact and the importance of why we're doing this. Just getting a little bit of glimpse of keratoconus and retinoscopy. It's a little tricky to do retinoscopy in keratoconus, but a really, really important step. We see the scissoring reflex in keratoconus when retinoscopy is done. And why is it that I'm speaking of keratoconus specifically right now? Is because, as I mentioned earlier, that there are certain lenses that are given with the advent of technology. And I almost think that these lenses are magical aids that help in visual rehabilitation for patients who cannot be visually rehabilitated through either spectacles, any type of other contact lenses, except some, and surgeries. So in that case, we give something called as scleral contact lenses. When scleral contact lenses are given, it's a tedious process, but it's absolutely worth it because the patients really land up with amazing vision by these specific lenses. And why is that? Is because these lenses create another smooth refracting surface over the irregular cornea. And there's a vault that's created which has a reservoir of fluid, liquid or fluid, which is basically the saline, can also be used as a drug delivery system. In such cases, the patient's visual rehabilitation becomes great because of having this smooth refracting surface over the cornea. And these lenses are absolutely comfortable as compared to RGP lenses, which are also given in keratoconus, because they do not sit onto the cornea. The landing zone is onto the sclera. That's why the name scleral lenses. Let's talk a little bit about orthokeratology and myopia control, because when you do refraction, you see patients with myopia. And especially in cases where you see a pediatric population having myopia, it's absolutely essential to tap into prevention of myopia. And what are the options that are available right now in contact lenses for myopia control with or without pharmacotherapy is orthokeratology. What orthokeratology does is that you wear these lenses overnight, sleep with the lenses, get up in the morning, take the lenses out, and throughout the day, you do not wear any other form of correction. They temporarily, mind you, temporarily reshape the corneal shape so that the patient is aided with good vision throughout the day. It is a reversible procedure, so that's a really good advantage of orthokeratology lenses. And the way these lenses alter the shape of the cornea, they help in myopia control. And why is it that we're looking at myopia reduction or myopia control is because myopia reduction of 50% will reduce high myopia frequency by 90%, which is a really big number. So let's look more into what is it that we can do to reduce the progression of myopia. Just summing it up, what are the advantages of retinoscopy in fitting contact lenses is that in pediatric population, it's a really, really good step. It is something that is essential. There is no way out but to do this. In fitting toric contact lenses, and like I mentioned, in assessing the fit of the toric contact lenses, the degree of rotation that you see. Also in long-term follow-ups, there you'll see that you can detect scratches, surface haze in contact lenses with retinoscopy faster than you would with that you could have easily missed. And in cases of diagnosing keratoconus and other corneal irregularities. A recent study investigated that the validity of and reliability of retinoscopy as a screening tool for keratoconus in comparison to pentacam shim-flux camera as a gold standard has determined to have 98% sensitivity and 80% specificity for detection of even early stages of keratoconus. So a 15 to 20,000 device is as good for screening, mind you, only for screening as compared to a 35 lakh device. So let's get our hands on to learning retinoscopes and getting a little more practice into it so that we can be less heavy on our pockets as well. Thank you so much.
Dr. Kudlu, as we were discussing with Dr. Jyoti and Mauree, you spoke about the importance of counseling. I wanted to ask you, how do you go about counseling your patients for wearing glasses and or contact lenses?
Counseling the patient for wearing, of course, since I've been practicing last 25 years. So initially, I think I started my career like how Dr. Himamshu was telling initially that we all used to do the retinoscopy, not even in streak retinoscopy, that the regular retinoscopy we used to do. So even in initial of my practice, I used to do, in spite of, I used to take autoref, even though I had a autorefractometer initially, but I used to do a refraction, and I only myself used to convince them for glasses, because when I started my clinic way back almost 21, 22 years before, that time I had a opticals also. So in fact, Rohan wanted to talk to me, wanted to talk to everybody regarding the optical setup. So what I used to say about, I used to convince the patient that you have to use the glasses, because a lot of patients, especially kids, they never used to like to wear glasses. We need to spend time with them. Now the overall scenario has been stopped. We see that, and we just give to the optical people. They convince the patient. But for a standalone single practitioner, their initial practice is bread and butter is opticals. Of course, it is good that patient, it is also from the patient point that if they are having refractive, they have to wear the glasses. So we need to spend time with them to convince them for spectacle wear also. Even for the patients, what I used to do, of course, I do have got a whole refractive suit in my practice, less than years of 18 years, especially kids more than 12 years. Girl child, always I used to convince them for going for contact lenses. Of course, as Pooja said that contact lens, of course, girl child, especially parents, some of the parents will never be even aware of that there is something called contact lens. So we have to understand them. What I do is I got a monitor in my chamber. I put them on and I show them that even nobody will be knowing that what kind of refractor they are. Only as a doctor, my suggestion to you all that we need to counsel the patient whether to wear the glasses, whether to go for contact lens or refractive surgery, even any of the procedure what we are doing.
Thank you so much, sir. Dr. Rajesh, sir, I just wanted your opinion on the OrthoK lenses that were mentioned, sir. So what's your experience with the OrthoK lenses for myopia?
Well, OrthoK does have a role, definitely. There's no doubt about it. And what I personally feel is that, there are cases, I mean, we are refractive surgeons, we are people who prescribe contact lenses, we are the ones who would also like to do OrthoK. So there is a subset of patients who are not fit for any refractive procedure, or who don't want to undergo refractive procedure, who don't want to undergo a permanent procedure, permanent change in their cornea or whatever. there is a subset of patients. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And there's a subset of patients who are not very keen for contact lenses also for regular use. So definitely in such cases, orthokeratology does help, and it is quite a useful tool. So for us, it is like those who are, not falling into any of these categories, that who are not willing to go for refractive procedure, somebody who is not, fit for refractive procedure, that patient definitely will be very happy with orthokeratology. Apart from that, routine myopes also can be, another very important indication for orthokeratology is individuals who are not having a stable refractive error. Because for any refractive procedure, you want stability of refractive error. And if the patient does not have a stable refractive error, such a case can very nicely be handled, and their cosmesis, these days, a lot of people are very much keen for cosmesis. So all these things can be very well handled. And I was just listening to Mauree. I'm sorry for joining late because I was in some other meeting. But I was listening to Mauree, and I know about her that she's very good in all these. So it really helps, and it does work in a subset of patients. That is what I feel. And particularly, as I said, that unstable refractive error, or those who are not fit for refractive procedures, they very suitable candidates for orthokeratology.
Rohan, it's
Yes,
like
sir.
as Rajesh said that, I still remember way back around 15 years before, people used to think about orthokeratology. Then all of a sudden, in between 5 to 8 years gap, that nobody used to think about orthokeratology. But last 1.5 years now, all of a sudden, most of the institute in India wants to once again start back the orthokeratology. Looks like there is a lot of scope is there for the orthokeratology. I think the coming days, I think this is the one more specialty I think every big institute, I think, should have in their armamentarium.
I completely agree with you. Actually, we started it long back in 2009, and then it was actually aborted because of some reasons. We started in a project, and now again we have started for the last 6 to 8 months or 1 year, and we are just trying to expedite that number, because over the last 1.5 years, because of COVID, things were not in proper line. So that's why the number of patients in that group did not add much. But over the last, I think we started this project about 18-20 months back. Then again, because of COVID, it was a little bit stalled. But yes, whatever results we have found out, it works well, and that is why I said that since we all are refractive surgeons, we all are people who prescribe contact lenses, also prescribe spectacles. Also, a couple of us are wearing spectacles also. But there is definite indication for orthokeratology. This is, I feel, and 2-3 indications, as I mentioned earlier, are definitely there, which can be very well handled by orthokeratology.
So one more point to add in pediatric is in myopia progression. So now that we're expecting, and now with the sudden boom happening, we can consider this as one of those, though we are using low dose atropine, but this is one possibility, especially if there's associated astigmatism, then that is something which as rightly said, a lot of institutes are exploring it, and when we are looking at starting this as a part of controlling the progression myopia.
And for the junior population, don't miss out. Money has to be made in contact lenses. Why should the opticians be making money? A lot of revenue which is being missed out. There was a time when we used to do semi-soft lenses. There used to be a competition because those guys could not do it that well, chashmawalas. So we used to spend a lot of time doing the measurements and giving them the semi-soft lens. The younger generation has not seen that. You've seen how the marketing companies just took away the lenses from doctors altogether, and the chashmawalas. And now the chashmawalas are also facing a tough time because everything has gone online and somebody's beating them. Yeah, Lenskart is doing it to create a big base so that they can buy off everything. Their volumes are the volume game. They can be bought over later. The valuation game before they come to the market. So the whole contact lens market has changed phenomenally, but there is still space, and don't take it lightly. Why should the chashmawalas, who have no idea about hygiene of eyes, taking up the vascularization, the granular formation on the conjunctiva, all that which will come to you is a huge volume from where you can take up contact lens practice yourself. And very, very important point that they mentioned, overnight wearing contact lenses, not many would mind. It's just that it slips out of our mind due to regular practice. We concentrate more on monofocal and multifocal than getting onto this practice.
Very important point about hygiene, Uresa. I wanted to ask Dr. Jyoti about this. That if if I have to counsel a patient very quickly in a busy OPD about how to take care hygienically about contact lenses, how would you sum it up quickly to tell the patient these are the most important points? These have to be taken care of.
Yeah, so one important thing is you have to clean your contact lens every time you remove it and wash it with the solution. Like if you are not going to drink that tap water, you will not be using the same thing for your contact lenses, because the last thing you want is clean it with it and put it in your eye. Secondly, we have to tell that if you do that, you'll actually end up going blind. And that is the worst thing, because this black part that appears is more or less a transparent structure which can go white. And if that happens, there is no treatment. Yeah, obviously there is, but unless you really sometimes scare the patient, they are very casual. Thirdly, you should not sleep with your contact lenses anytime. Especially when I give contact lenses to all my children who have undergone surgery for phakics. Anyway, you have to educate the mother. And fourthly, you should cut your nails. You should not be using nails, long nails, especially when you're cleaning and all. So these few things you need to just quickly tell them so that they look at it seriously, because I said if anything goes wrong for a cosmetic reason, you're going to land up affecting your eye, and that's the end. There is no way coming back. So these important things you can inform.
The tap water pearl is a great one, ma'am. It definitely will be used.
In fact, a lot of patients do say we could wash our eyes with tap water. I said, do you drink it? They said, no, we don't drink it. I said, then how can you use that for your eyes? And we all have tears, just blink more often. Sometimes you have to tell them. So that's
practical point, Rohan. One of the things they do is they remove the lenses. They have no time. They're drunk or they are late, always removing the lenses. The last thing, they're very tired. They don't want to clean the lens. And they say, we clean the lens before wearing it next day morning. So I have to give them the example that khana khane ke baad, you wash your hands now next time you go for your meal. Don't wash your hands immediately after your meal. That's the only thing which registers in their mind. Give them a practical example.
Yeah. In fact, you can even have images of bad cornea, spoiled jut related to contact lens, but how it can look. And sometimes if you show them, realize. In fact, when it comes to even glasses, I have to reinforce that if you don't wear the glasses, child can go blind for life. So when you tell like these words, sometimes these sound a little like the parents are like, okay, taken aback. No, I don't want that to happen. So I will do it.
So one thing I would like to add one thing what, Jyoti was telling, very rightly pointed out regarding tap water. There was one study that was done in London regarding the growth of organism in the tap water. And they found out that in London, 80% of the water that they collected from taps, various taps, in 80% amoeba, there was presence of amoeba in it. So in a tropical country like ours, we will have much more than we had in UK, in London. So that is one point that is, very much, we have to highlight, and which Jyoti was very rightly pointed out. And don't sleep. She has mentioned. I would add one more thing: don't swim, because I've seen a couple of cases of Amoeba keratitis who are contact lens users, and they have done swimming using contact lens. A few have slept using contact lens, and all these cases have come to us with the Amoeba keratitis. So these are a few things which we have to take care as far as hygiene is concerned.
Thank you.
Also, if I may humbly add another thing, which I believe is a really, really important step, is you cannot hurry this process at all. It's a very, very important step. You can assign it to somebody at the hospital to let them know that these are the steps. Give the patients the stepwise guide and get a consent from them that I know what I need to do and that I'm going to follow the procedures, because you don't want to end up in complications after when they have not taken care of their lenses back at home. You have informed them all that is necessary, and yet the patients may not be compliant. So it's very important that you get a consent from them that I know what are the steps that need to be done in the process.